Dunn on behalf of the Association of Builders and Contractors of Florida.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Carol Bowen with Associated Builders and Contractors, and this is a top legislative priority for us this session. I'd like you to consider the following hypothetical as you move forward in the deliberation. I want you to think about when you go to purchase a car. You might go to the local dealership and say, I like that car, tell me what you want me to pay, and I'm going to pay it because you're the local guy. But I don't think you're going to do that. I think you're going to say, I like that car, make me your best offer. And if it's not the best offer, you're going to shop around until you get the best product for the best price. You're doing it because you're being fiscally responsible with your personal dollars. And all we're asking of you today is that you extend that fiscal responsibility to state-appropriated funds for which you oversee. The National Association of State Procurement Officials has looked at the long-term impact of bidding preferences and has found that consistently and uniformly, three things happen. They decrease competition, they increase cost, and they decrease the number of buildings that can be built in a given year because you're paying more than you should for the work that you're doing. It's important to remember that these geographic preferences apply to a physical location of where a general contractor has their building. These artificial trade barriers do not guarantee that the workers there are local, that the supplies are local, or that the food that they eat is local. It merely says that in some cases that building fits in a specific zip code. We understand the concerns of local governments and their desire to do what's best for their constituents, and we do think the 50% threshold is fair. We've negotiated up to that level out of consideration for those concerns. But I'd ask you to consider if local governments know what is best for their constituents and should be allowed to do what's best with their dollars, doesn't that argument carry over into you? As state officials, don't you know what's best to do with state-appropriated funds, and shouldn't you be allowed to dictate that? You might appropriate funds that go down to the local level. The only time this kicks in is when you do the most and when you give the most. We'd ask for your support. We're here if you have any questions, and we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Representative Rader for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You had just said this is your top priority, and I believe, don't you represent both big contractors and small contractors, rural and urban? Why does it seem like you're picking one over another?
You're recognized.
Thank you. If you look at the top 25 general contractors by volume in the state, they have figured out how to kind of manipulate this system. And they, in many cases, have opened up offices in multiple locations, some as many as 6. And while we do represent both general at the large level and small, these ordinances exist because they allegedly help the local small contractor. Your local small contractor can't afford to open up an office in multiple locations, and so they're actually being hurt by this, and that's why we support this bill.
Next up is Warren Husband.